Welcome to the Growth Network and welcome to Teacher Tips number 5. Our title this week is The Best and Worst of You. Our teacher tip this week is to ask yourself the question, what are your greatest strengths and your greatest weaknesses? Now, to put this into context, we can think about this statement, you make all the difference. We come back to this a lot. The question we might want to ask ourselves is, which part of us makes all the difference? Because we tend to assume that it's the good parts. And in many ways, that is true. Eustace in our story this week is great with spreadsheets, but he's got a bad temper. And it's better, surely, we think, to accentuate the positive and to try to minimize or eradicate the negative. But Katniss makes a really good point when she says that our greatest strengths and our greatest weaknesses appear to be linked to each other. So why is Eustace bad-tempered? Is it related to the fact that he's also ambitious for the students he serves? He gets angry when they don't take the opportunities given to them. Strangely, the people who seem most angry and frustrated might also be people who care a great deal. It's just they're not expressing it so well. The other element of this is what's really driving us. We talked about success and the question, what would you do if you knew you would fail? Perhaps if Eustace took this question to heart, he'd be a bit less angry. He could acknowledge that not everyone was going to achieve their potential and focus instead on helping each one take the next step forward. The root problem is that his measure of success is solely focused on student results, neglecting student character, and that emphasis brings out his own character flaws. Now, we work in a system which values results and outcomes, which means we can easily lose sight of the value of character and of everyday interactions. We forget that we can only do as much as we can and that what other people do with what we give them is their decision. Perhaps someone taking one small step forward over 5 years is a success worth celebrating just as much as someone achieving the best grade possible. Underlying all this is the lesson that we need to be gentle with ourselves and consequently gentle with other people. So this week's teacher tip is to ask yourself what your greatest strengths and weaknesses are. Like so many of these tips, it works just as well at home, and it is very likely that there are connections between the workplace and home. If you've ever tried to do something like this, then you may know that many of us tend to go straight for the weaknesses, and we can be very reluctant to name our strengths. So if you're feeling brave, the very powerful extension task is to ask someone else to name your strengths and weaknesses for you. You'll probably get some surprises. They might name strengths you've not noticed and quite possibly put your weaknesses in context. Now, personally, I can relate a great deal to Eustace. I'm a planner and I love a spreadsheet, but I can also be bad-tempered and I hate seeing people miss out on their potential. The plans and spreadsheets have certainly helped in all sorts of areas, personal and professional. The temper is less productive. But when I'm honest with myself about my weaknesses, it makes me think much more about why I act that way. Partly it relates back to my own frustrations with other students when I was at school. Partly it's my frustrated ambitions. Those who don't want to work are spoiling my plans for perfect results. Partly it's my perception that those students are selfishly taking the chances of others. But underneath all of that, my weaknesses reveal on the positive side, I do care about people. But on the negative side, I'm measuring success in terms of how I do rather than in terms of cultivating students' character as well as their achievements. And this exercise serves as a great reminder to come back to your purpose. It accentuates the positives and it helps us overcome the negatives, targeting negative energy into something more positive. Thanks for joining us. See you soon for another Teacher Tips.